Hi there everyone, and welcome back to the Why Music Podcast, the podcast where we explore different musicians and their music throughout history. Today we're going to learn about one of the most influential film composers in history. No, we're not going to be talking about Danny Elfman or John Williams or even Hans Zimmer. Today we're going to be learning about R.D.Burman. Raoul Dev Burman, or R.D.Burman, was born in Calcutta in West Bengal in India on the 27th of June 1939. His mother was Meera Dev Burman, who was a musician, and she wrote lyrics for a few Bengali films. His father, though, was the legendary Sachin Dev Burman, who's better known as S.D.Burman, and composed soundtracks for over 100 Bengali and Hindi films. And he is one of the most influential and successful film composers in Bollywood history himself. While many young people might struggle and write songs for years and years until they get a big break, Raoul's song called I Meri Topi Palatekiya was so good that his father used it in a film called Fantoosh in 1956 when Raoul was only 17 years old.
I meri topi palat ke aa na apne fantoosh ko sata hai meri dilbar idhar nazar kar na ja bichhad kar na ja.
Obviously, these are the advantages and privileges you get when your father is a famous composer. He was involved in the music and film industry from a really young age, and he would become the musical assistant for his dad in different films and even play the harmonica and mouth organ in his dad's orchestras on different occasions. The first film he was the musical director for was called Tisri Manzil in 1966, and he scored a few films by himself as well as continuing his work as a music assistant with his dad in the 1960s. It was in the 1970s when he not only became famous, but became the most in-demand music director in Bollywood. He wrote music for the film Karti Patang in 1970 with songs sung by the legendary Kishore Kumar. His work on the film Caravan in 1971 earned him a Fanfare Award nomination, and over the next few years he started to win many more awards. Unfortunately though, his father, S.D.Burman, passed away in 1975. In Season 1, Episode 9, we learned about Lata Mangeshkar, who was a famous playback singer in India. Unfortunately, since I recorded that episode, she has sadly passed away. If you listen to that episode again and listen to the fun fact at the end of the episode, you might hear me talk about her sister, Asha Bhosle. Well, believe it or not, Raoul and Asha Bhosle actually married each other in 1980. With so much talent in one household, it's no wonder that they wrote many songs together, including Pia Tu Ab Tu Aja, Aja Aja Mahyum Pure Tera, and Dum Maro Dum. Just as a random side note, Asha Bhosle's nickname for her husband Raoul was Bubs. Even though Raoul enjoyed incredible success in the 1970s, the 1980s were a little tougher for him, as many films that he was involved in just didn't do very well. Even though he did have a few successful films, various different factors meant that he was no longer considered the top composer in Bollywood at that time. Unfortunately, in 1988, he suffered a heart attack, and even though he recovered and wrote more music, he sadly passed away in 1994 when he was only 54 years old. The thing about R.D.Burman was that he was revolutionary in the Bollywood industry, and his music, as you've heard, was influenced by many different styles including jazz, rock and rhythms from Latin America. When he was putting music together for film, he would often use everyday objects to produce the sounds he wanted. Objects like cups and saucers, sometimes he'd rub combs or sandpaper on objects or even blow on bottles. In 1995, the Filmfare Awards, of which he actually won 3 of them, created the Filmfare R.D.Burman Award for New Music Talent to remember him by, and there is a square in Mumbai which is named after him, which you could visit today. In 2011, a book was written all about his life called R.D.Burman, The Man, The Music. I think at this point it's important to give his career a little bit of perspective and context. In the intro, I mentioned a couple of composers, Danny Elfman and John Williams, who many of you would have heard of before. Danny Elfman has written music for many films, including Men in Black in 1997 and the film Chicago in 2002. If you go on IMDb, you'll be able to see that he's been credited on working on 111 films or documentaries or TV shows in his career. John Williams, who famously wrote the music for the franchise Star Wars, has been credited with 281 movies, documentaries, and TV shows. R.D.Burman has 316 credits to his name. It makes you think, doesn't it? And it's actually a question that I was going to say in our question section, but I might as well ask you now. Why do you think that many people don't talk about R.D.Burman in the same way as they talk about Danny Elfman or John Williams or Hans Zimmer or any other film composers, Ludwig Göransson? Why don't they talk about him as much as they talk about the others? Have you ever come across any music by R.D.Burman or watched a movie that he was involved in? Maybe we should all listen to and watch some movies that R.D.Burman has been a part of. After all, if you've been involved in over 300 movies and films, you must be doing something right. And now I have a few questions for you, but obviously one less than usual.
Question?
So I guess this is question number 2. Do you think that R.D.Burman would have been as successful as he was if his dad wasn't a composer himself? And question number 3, like we learned about Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez in season 2, episode 5, what do you think it might be like working with someone that you're married to? So here's a fun fact for you.
Tell me something good.
R.D.Burman was known by a couple of different names, but one of the most famous nicknames he had was Pancham Da. Rumour has it that he got this nickname because when he would cry as a baby, it sounded like the 5th note of the G scale in Hindustani classical music, Pa. Another rumour is that he got this nickname because when he would cry as a baby, he would sing in 5 different notes. Either way, it has something to do with the number 5. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really hope you've enjoyed it, hope you've learned something as well, and I hope it's made you think about the people that we talk about and the others that we don't talk about sometimes. You know what to do already. Please write us a review or rate us on Spotify or iTunes. Tell a friend about this podcast as well. Check out R.D.Burman. There's so many great clips of some of his songs in movies on YouTube, so have a look on YouTube. Get lost into the world of Bollywood and R.D.Burman. It's a great place to get lost in. Take care of yourselves and peace.